Right now, you are using at least 5 apps that did not cost you a single cent. No subscription, no payment screen, nothing. And that should terrify you a little because nothing in the history of business has ever been built to give away something valuable for free. So if you are not paying anything, the real question is not what you are getting. The real question is what you are actually paying with. Here's the answer nobody tells you when you tap install. You are not the customer of these apps. You never were. You are the raw material. Every scroll, every pause, every second your thumb hesitates over a photo is being measured, recorded, and sold to someone else who is the actual paying customer, the advertiser sitting behind the curtain. The product you thought was free is not free at all. It is the most expensive thing you own, and you have been paying for it every single day without ever seeing a bill. To understand how strange this really is, we need to go back to a moment most people have never heard of. In 1971, an economist named Herbert Simon, who would later win a Nobel Prize, wrote a short passage that quietly predicted the entire digital economy decades before it existed. He said that in a world overflowing with information, what becomes scarce is not information itself. What becomes scarce is attention. Simon realized that information consumes the attention of its recipients, so a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. In simple words, the more content there is, the more valuable your focus becomes, because your focus is now the limited resource everyone is fighting over. 50 years later, that single idea became the foundation of the biggest companies on earth. Not oil, not steel, not manufacturing, attention. Your attention became the raw material extracted, refined, and sold exactly the way oil was extracted a century before. But knowing that attention was valuable was not enough. Companies needed a way to actually capture it hour after hour, day after day, without you ever choosing to give it up on purpose. This is where the story takes a darker turn, and it starts with a psychologist who never saw a smartphone in his life. In the 1950s, B.F. Skinner ran experiments on pigeons and rats inside a simple box with a lever. When the animal pressed the lever, it sometimes received food, but not every single time. Skinner discovered something remarkable. If a reward comes every single time you do an action, the behavior stays steady. But if the reward comes randomly, unpredictably, sometimes yes and sometimes no, the animal presses the lever more, not less. This pattern is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and it produces the strongest, most compulsive behavior ever documented in behavioral psychology. It is the exact mechanism that makes slot machines the most profitable devices in any casino. Now think about your phone. Every time you pull down to refresh your feed, you do not know what you are going to get. Maybe a message from someone you love. Maybe nothing interesting at all. Maybe a like on your photo, maybe none. That uncertainty is not an accident. It is Skinner's lever, rebuilt in glass and code, placed directly in your pocket. Product designers openly studied behavioral psychology to build this exact loop into the apps you use every day, because a predictable reward gets boring fast, but an unpredictable one gets you checking your phone over 100 times a day without ever deciding to. So the picture so far is already unsettling. Your attention is the resource, and unpredictable rewards are the trap that keeps you harvesting it for someone else. But here is the reverse surprise, the part that goes even further than most people realize. It is not only about keeping you scrolling so you see more ads. The real goal is bigger and stranger than that. In 2019, a Harvard Business School professor named Shoshana Zuboff published a book that gave this entire system a name, Surveillance Capitalism. Her argument was not simply that companies collect your data. Her argument was that your data is used to build predictive models of your future behavior, models so detailed that they can be sold as a kind of forecast, a behavioral futures market where companies bid on knowing what you will do before you do it. According to Zuboff, the goal shifted from understanding you to quietly shaping you, nudging your behavior in small, almost invisible ways so that the prediction becomes more accurate and more profitable over time. This means the free app on your phone is not simply watching what you already do, it is running a slow, ongoing experiment on what makes you do more of it. The color of a button, the exact moment a notification arrives, the precise algorithm that decides which post appears next, none of it is random. Each piece is tested on millions of people at once, refined and refined again, until the version that keeps you inside the app the longest wins and gets shipped to your phone. Think about the last time you picked up your phone to check one notification and then looked up 40 minutes later, wondering where the time went. That was not a lapse in your willpower. That was the intended outcome of a system built by teams of engineers, designers, and behavioral scientists whose entire job was to make exactly that happen to you. And this is where the deeper cost becomes clear. The price was never money, because money would have been easy to notice. The price is your time, sliced into small pieces you cannot get back. The price is your attention, sold in bulk to companies you will never meet. The price is a detailed model of your habits, your fears, your desires, built quietly in the background and used to predict and gently steer your next move. None of that shows up on a receipt, which is exactly why it never feels like spending anything at all. None of this means every app is evil, and it does not mean you have to delete your phone and disappear into the woods. But once you know the real transaction taking place, you can start noticing it in real time. The pause before you open an app out of pure boredom. The small relief when a notification finally arrives. The urge to check one more time, just in case something changed. None of these moments are weaknesses in your character. They are the system working exactly as it was designed to work on a brain that evolved long before any of this existed. So the next time you install something that costs you nothing, ask yourself the one question that actually matters. If I am not paying with money, what exactly am I paying with, and who is on the other end collecting it? Because the most expensive product you own was never the one with a price tag. It was the one that convinced you it was free.